breaking. This just in, we have the trailer for Hollywood Nights with a K, by the way.
Right.
Hollywood Knights.
Remember Damashek was all about naming some team the Hollywood Knights.
Yeah.
He actually brought that up to one of the players, I remember, and that guy was not interested.
Michelle Pfeiffer in this thing.
She plays Susie Q.
See if the guy's farting in it.
It's the same year as fucking Scarface.
Oh, is it?
Well, 80. I think it's a year or two off.
Here's a trailer, and we also have the fart scene.
Scarface later, right?
Yeah.
The Hollywood Nights, 1980.
I gotta tell you, no bullshit. That is a really good trailer. That's like the original clickbait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really well marketed.
Michelle Pfeiffer didn't even make
No,
it.
she didn't make the
Who
cut.
else was in that, Max Spada?
Tony Danza, Fran Drescher.
You saw Fran Drescher in the back seat, I think. That was her.
Now you got to find the clip of the guy farting the song,
Here we go.
which delighted me.
Wow. It's the thinking man's comedy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Stinking man's comedy.
All right. Well, there it is. Those are the movies we had to choose from.
A rubber wool vehicle.
That's
really?
right.
Wow.
They sung
catapulted
Valari
him.
and farted into the mic.
Amazing. There's a lot of news to get to, but did you happen to see the picture I posted on Twitter yesterday at the local Ralph's in
I
North
did,
Hollywood?
yeah.
I wanted to show this
Oh,
to
yeah.
you guys because, we talk about locking up the shaving stuff and the razors and the medicine. Well, my Ralph's, I'm just bopping around and getting my stuff. I go down the aisle and my cart is about to hit a door, like a makeshift door in the aisle. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I go back down to ask the guy what gives. There's a guy standing at the end of the aisle. And I was just about to say, like, what is this? And he goes, oh, ma'am, anything you bought in this aisle, you have to pay for right here. And I go, what is going on? And
So
he goes,
they just constructed a door
Yeah.
in the middle of an aisle.
yeah.
Oh, my
For all
God.
they said it's a high theft aisle, has like mouthwash and toothpaste and Advil, I guess. And if you go in and you exit, they'll stop you and say, whatever you grab from this aisle, you have to pay for right here in the aisle. And I'll give you a
man.
sticker, and then you can take it up to the front with all your other stuff.
Oh, man. One more sign of the apocalypse,
It was pretty
right?
fucking crazy,
How's
right?
the house hunting going?
Not good.
Okay.
Because with all this urban decay, prices through the roof.
Well, what I don't get about a lot of these items, like razor cartridges, batteries, or mouthwash, or whatever it is we're talking about here, it's like, that's a high dollar item. Like, first off, not really, but all right. But
I guess isn't it a dollar size ratio? Like, no, the razors aren't the most expensive thing in the store, but they can fit in your pocket.
yeah,
Right.
easy to steal, and it's $9, whatever. These guys aren't doing it so they can get a good clean shave or have minty fresh breath or more batteries to power their flashlight. They got to move this stuff, right?
Well, it's interesting you say
How
that.
does one purchase slightly used razors or razors that are not from a store? Is there a market? And what is the market?
I guess you can open an Amazon shop. They're sealed, so what's the difference? You know what I mean?
Dawson has
Yeah,
a
I
phone.
know. It's just who seeks it out. Like,
They sell those at flea markets all the time.
Really?
flea
That's
markets.
laundry detergent. That's a big, big seller at flea markets.
I thought you were going to say that you take it apart to use it to, cut up your whatever.
No, they sell it,
Oh.
but I guess it's at the flea market. So, inside the market, we got these separate doors, so people will stop ripping off cartridges for razors and then selling them at flea markets. And then outside, we got the mother-daughter team from Guatemala with the hot dog cart, and then the person next to her with the flowers. So we just turned into this weird kind of underground black market economy.
Yeah. It was weird. It was I've never seen anything like it.
It's along with the razor wire on the freeway signs, it is a sign.
Yeah.
We need to pump the brakes and figure out what the fuck is going on, people.
Indeed. All right, let's do some news. So, new footage from inside Robb Elementary School is raising more questions about the police response to the mass shooting in May, and it is apparently not what we thought or what we were told. The footage shows multiple officers standing outside the classroom armed with really heavy weapons, heavier weapons than initially reported, including high-powered rifles and at least one ballistic shield. It contradicts earlier reports that officers were inadequately armed and unprepared to move in. But there's more. The director of the Texas Department of Public Safety, that's Colonel Steve McCraw, he had blistering testimony at the state Senate hearing. And he said that the classroom door could not be locked from the inside. Yet there's no indication that anyone tried to open the door while the gunman was in there. Instead, he says the police waited around for a key for a door that was open, it sounds like. McCraw lit into the Uvalde School District police chief who was in charge, saying the only thing stopping a hallway of dedicated officers from entering room 111 and 112 was the on-scene commander who decided to place the lives of officers above the lives of children. So they're standing there fully armed with a locked door. And then they said, we already heard they were standing around for 70 minutes outside. I mean, none of this adds up. They
were there 3 to 4 minutes after the shooting started. I heard one timeline.
It's very confusing because there's a lot of contradictory information.
As a guy who hangs a lot of doors, I'm interested, which is there is no locking from the inside. So there's no like thumb turn lock. But then how would you lock the door if it was a locking door?
I'm pretty sure they have, well, you would know, they have those locks for industrial use or schools or whatever that have a key and a key only. There's no like the pressing button.
Yeah. That's a keyed both sides thing. But then they said the door was unlocked.
Yeah.
So how would one lock it during normal school days if, in fact, you shut the door and locked it? The teacher would have the key and lock it. All right, so he doesn't have the key.
They're waiting for the key, but apparently they didn't need a key. And everyone's going to come at me and say, there's so much contradictory information on this that's still coming out. It's crazy.
Yeah. There was that part where like one of the teachers went out to the patio and forgot to shut the door. That was the first one. And then it wasn't the outside door.
Right.
The back door. Yeah, there's a big problem, which is people do not want to enter places where people are shooting guns, even cops, even when it's their job. And the protocols are, there's an excuse for all protocols because it's always like, whoever's in charge is rarely there. So then they got to radio somebody and they're like, stand down and tell X, Y, or Z.
Right.
I just think the new world order is, in the case of a school shooting or a terrorist shooting in a theater, whatever it is, like we're all in. Everyone's going in.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the job.
Right.
Sad.
Yeah, and we talked about how they told the teachers to gather up all the kids in one little group and put them in under a desk. Well, guess what happened? So everything needs to be, dare I say, reimagined.
Yeah, a lot of the cops are saying they didn't have the breaching stuff for the door, but evidently they didn't check the door.
I guess. I mean, this is literally coming out in pretty much live time, but the guy in charge is pissed.
It's like the Pat Tillman syndrome. You know what I mean? It's like it always turns out to be bad when we start
the worst version.
The worst version. Whenever we start investigating,
killed in action. Defending his fellow troops.
It always. And Tillman's still a hero. The guy fucking quit his job.
But the worst version of that story.
It's never good when they start looking into the timeline.
Right.
Ugh.
Well, we talked about this story, the last couple, maybe a year, of Dave Chappelle wanting to donate to the school that he went to in D.C. And then the students at the school saying, not so fast, Chappelle, we don't like you because of your last stand-up special and your trans jokes and screw you and we don't want your name, we don't want your money. Well, he said, okay, fine, let's put it to a vote. He went online and basically said to the kids, you raise money for me and raise money against me. And whoever wins, that's what we'll do. And by the way, if you don't contribute, please, and I quote, shut the fuck up forever. So turns out that the people who were pro Dave Chappelle and renaming the theater won. And he was going to go in, and it was going to be the Chappelle Auditorium. But wait, last minute change. he flipped the script on them and he decided not to have it called the Dave Chappelle Theater or whatever.
Bill Cosby
That's
Memorial
right.
Auditorium.
That's right. It was the Duke Ellington High School Theater.
The Kevin Spacey Center for Performing Arts.
Yes. But he said, we are going to call the theater Theater for Artistic Freedom and Expression. And again, he was supposed to be honored last year, but everyone said, fuck you. And I think in his own Dave Chappelle way, this is an even better dig.
Mm-hmm.
You know
clever.
what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, snot-nosed 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds that don't know jack squat. Don't fuck with a seasoned comedy mind. They're going to get you.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, can't have a black guy go back to his own school who's hit it big and
Give a
donate
little
an
back.
auditorium.
Yeah.
No, we don't want that
Don't
anymore.
want that.
It's such it you know what it shows? See, there's like two mindsets. There is the I would like better working conditions employee, and then there's disgruntled employee, right? Now the disgruntled employee never goes, I'm disgruntled. They always go, I want a coffee machine in the lounge and I want a longer break. But they're never disgruntled.
Right.
They're fighting for rights.
Right.
Right. Except where you start to find out when you start giving them all the shit they want and they're worse, they are fucking disgruntled. Like these kids are disgruntled now. It's not, it's a lot of like, but it bleeds into, you know, it's that sort of whoever that cunt was on the city council is like, fuck you, Elon Musk. Like we're getting into a weird disgruntled zone. If in fact you just want what you want and you get what you want, then you should then shut the fuck up. You get an auditorium, this guy gave it to you. Shut up.
Yeah,
But
you're
no,
welcome.
we are put upon.
Yes.
We have complaints and we
Yes.
need to be heard. Has there ever, whatever the cause is, whatever the cause, it could be Black Lives Matter, could be queer and LGBT, could be trans rights, you know, what environmental, whatever the cause is, or the groups advocating for the homeless. Is there any point where they go, hey, we got what we want?
Yeah.
We're good now?
Yeah.
Or they just fucking move on to the next gripe, which is disgruntled. So we got a bunch of fucking disgruntled employees, except for we think they're just employees that want a better break room.
Do this one thing.
So we go, all right, we'll go to IKEA and get a new sofa. And then these guys go, no, they are disgruntled. We have a whole group of disgruntled little fucks. And for some reason, people, like, I'll give you, remember that, I'll think of his word, the Evergreen College thing.
Oh, yeah. Eastern Washington or something like that.
Yes. With, oh my God.
Goldstein.
Yeah.
Goldfarb. What is it?
Isn't it Brett Goldstein?
Goldstein.
Or Brett?
No, it's not Goldstein, but
Oh.
it's Brett Weinstein.
Jews.
Weinstein.
Weinstein, yeah.
Weinstein. No one knows. So he's the most progressive guy in the world, and they're like, hey, we have the day off for no black students need to show up on this day. And I was like, okay, I'm progressive. I'm down with that. Well, we don't have to do that. So they don't do it. So, all right, he agrees with them. But they're disgruntled. Because if the case was just we want to set aside a day where black students don't have to come in, maybe fall a little further behind, that'd be awesome for the culture, but we'll carve out a day for that, then you got what you wanted. Now you need to shut the fuck up, but you're disgruntled.
Mission accomplished.
So you sit around and you go, So we think the mission is some sort of, black unity, equality. It's not. It's disgruntled is the mission. So they let it ride for a couple of years, and then they're like, we've got our way, but we need to keep going because we're disgruntled employees. So they go, hey, I got it now. Nobody shows up. No white professors. You can't come in here. And then he's like, hey, man, I'm a progressive man of the left, but I'm old school, and I'm going to come in and teach my class. Then they're chasing around the fucking pitchfork.
Literally.
Why? Well, there's what they say they want, and then there's disgruntled. You have to realize whether it's a fucking kid who's disgruntled, a student who's disgruntled, or a whole organizations. They're fucking disgruntled. There is no satisfying. There's no appeasement. There's no bargaining. And that's why they all need to be told to fuck right off.
Well
Thank you.
said.
What was Chappelle's alternate title for the theater?
It was
Center for...
It was the Theater for Artistic Freedom and Expression.
That's good. Dare I say, I think I can do a little better for Chappelle. Someone get this to him. We're going to call it the Center for Humanities, Arts, Plays, Productions, Elections, Lectures, and Life Experiences Theater, or
Acronym?
Chappelle for short. Chappelle for short.
Well done.
The Chappelle Theater.
I like that.
That's smart.
That'll fit on a marquee nicely.
Yes.
Well, you don't think you're disgruntled, but you're about to get disgruntled. After we just talked about my experience at Tori Amos and how she didn't play the old hits and how you had a brilliant idea about one night is all hits night. One night we do, whatever, potluck.
Yeah, 0 tickets sold for potluck night, but go ahead.
Guess what? Your favorite lady, Chrissie Hynde, her future shows won't include any big hits.
No.
Come
so
on.
she revealed on Facebook, this is what she said. I never wanted to go there in the first place, but I was trying to keep myself alive and pay the bills. And yes, I know that's no reason to be in a rock band. I was just too scared to go back to waitressing. But those greatest hits and ballad days are behind me. If anyone wants to come and see me in the future, it's going to be punk rock and no hits. Now, she's not currently touring, but she did reveal that a new album is being worked on. So have fun at the show.
I don't think she's going to draw. I was just doing Huey Lewis's 80s radio show, and he told me to pick out like 6 80s songs, and I picked out a bunch of random stuff that no one's heard of.
This is appointment listening.
But I also picked out Mystery Achievement by the Pretenders because I love that goddamn song. And then, comically, less than 24 hours ago, we were standing out there with our last guest, Randy Couture, and he was like, remember I did your radio show and Chrissie Hynde was a guest? And I went to go talk to her, and I touched her arm or something, and she recoiled or whatever.
Forgot about that.
Prickly. Didn't you see her at like a private event and she sped off?
I was like, I never do this, but I'm going to do it. At Goodwood, they had Lord Chichester's ball or something that night in England for the big car race that was going on over there. And the Pretenders were performing. And I was like, when this show is over, I'm going to go say hi to Chrissie Hynde. I've interviewed her before. She'll know who I am.
Right.
We got along good, and I love the Pretenders. And as the show was ending, I just crept over to it. It was like a makeshift stage because it was done in a big outdoor garden or whatever. And in front of the kitchen, and I stood, and the set ended, and she just walked right off the stage, walked right through this duvetine curtain that they had set up into a driveway with literally a car and the door was open. I'm still gonna say hi to her by the car. The door was open, she slid right in, door shut, gone.
Yeah.
It was not 13 seconds after the
When
set.
the driver hears chain gang, he opens the door.
That's right.
Start the engine.
That's right.
Yeah, no meet and greet, man.
So, yeah, have fun at that show. Somebody else who is also disgruntled against their father. One of Elon...
Adam Carolla?
Yes. First of all, Elon Musk has 8 kids.
No.
It's like Nick Cannon. He has
Yeah.
a lot of kids.
Goddamn African Americans.
Yeah.
Well
good
said.
call.
Well said. One of Elon Musk's children, who's transgender, by the way, has filed papers to change her name.
Well,
because
sorry, the over-under on kids with one of them not being transgender is 5.5.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, these
it
days,
is
yeah.
not, I mean,
If you got 8 in California, statistically,
yeah.
3 will be
Yeah.
trans.
Sure.
Yes. I don't know that it's possible to have a brood, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
without, if you want to redo the Brady Bunch or my 3 sons and one transitioning
my 3
daughter.
send? Question
Yeah, question mark. Somebody's going to be transitioning.
Yeah.
You got to cut it off if you don't want
would
that.
really fuck up the Brady's theme song. It'd be a shit show trying to figure
Yeah.
that out. Because it
Rich
was
Banks,
clear
get on
and
it.
simple. That's right. So she no longer wants to be, it's not that she doesn't want to be known as the other sex. She doesn't want to be known as Elon Musk's daughter or child.
I do love that.
Yeah. In court documents, Xavier Musk, who recently turned 18, says she wants her name to be Vivian and Vivian Wilson.
Let me tell you something, little disgruntled douche of Elon, offspring, devil spawn of Elon. Fine, but I'm going to draft up some paperwork.
Will paperwork?
Yes, because when Elon moves on, And there's 750 patents he's left behind that aerospace is using and commercial aircraft is using and own half Texas. I need you to sign right now. You want nothing to do with this person, all right? Let's put your fucking money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
You don't like the guy? You want nothing to do with him?
Fine.
Good. But when he kicks off, they're going to whack it up 7 ways instead of 8 ways. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Sign the fucking release, douche.
Well, I think this child might be into that because as for the reason that this is happening, she claims gender identity and the fact that I no longer live with or wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form. She was...
I would recommend people starting a family now, like if you're thinking, I want 2 kids, have 3, because there has to be one you don't talk to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The heir and the spare.
Yeah, so just get that space shaver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want 2 kids? Good. You'll have 2 kids,
Yeah.
and then there'll be the 3rd that you don't talk to anymore.
Right.
Because that's the new world order.
That's right. So her mom is Canadian
Where's
author.
mystery achievement?
So you can still
that
say the kids
baseline.
are coming over. Even though
That's right.
Number
Right,
3 is
right.
out.
That's right.
Her mother's Canadian author, Justine Wilson. They were married for 8 years. He has, I think, 6 kids just with her. And then the little AEIOU baby. Did she ever do any music with Heart? Because as
I don't
distinct
think
as
so.
her voice is, there's a mesh there that I think would be really good.
She may have turned her nose up at heart.
Oh, how dare she?
She's also one of these people where she's from Ohio, but feels very Euro.
Right.
'Cause
Like how
they-
Madonna's from Detroit. Or
Right.
some part of Michigan.
They went to Europe and I think had bandmates from
Right.
Europe and then sort of made their bones
Honed
in
their
Europe
style.
and then got their style and everything.
Right.
So you think the Pretenders are like English, but they're
Yeah,
not.
they're not. Let's please never forget that Johnny Depp is from Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
That's my favorite. More Adele residency in Vegas news, but also kind of not really. That's really looking very unlikely right now. Caesar's Palace is trying to squeeze her in before other acts to take the Coliseum near the end of this year. However, union officials confirm they sent home members of the stage construction crew. They were told not to come back until after Labor Day. Adele said previously that the residency, worth $150 million, by the way, has to happen this year. She's hoping for another baby with thoughts of a 2023 delivery. Her boyfriend of more than a year, that sports agent, Rich Paul, said the last week that he's excited about having kids. So maybe that's why.
Is she shedding the weight while they're engaged?
I think
Looks
she's-
like
Is
it.
he with her while,
Yeah.
while she's
Still
dropping
losing
it?
weight?
I don't know if she's still. but
No,
she's-
I mean, I don't think so. But my point is are you...
Oh, was he in? Okay.
Are you there with fat Adele, which means you're in for life? I mean, you've been grandfathered in. There's always an appreciation there if you're with big Adele.
right.
And then she's dropping 11 pounds a month. You know, do you sit back and wait till she gets under 140 before you buy the ring? Or do you see which way this wind is
Well, if
blowing?
she's gonna have another baby, you give a very short window. They've only been dating for like last year.
Oh,
Smart.
come on.
Yeah, I think she's a
According to
pain in the
Glamour.
ass. Is that?
I'm getting
what
that vibe.
That's the
Of a
vibe I'm
diva.
getting.
From the Instagram, the show can't go on. It's a totally beyond my control situation.
God, the Vegas residency that, everyone laughed at Elvis
Right.
for taking up all those years ago is now, it's just like having some pot of gold that you never have to go to, but if you want to go to it and you're Sting or Adele or anybody whose name
Celine.
we know,
Yeah.
just go on over and crack open that pot of gold.
Yeah, and not only is there no shame, but like it's a very glamorous thing to do now. Where, like you said, it used to be a joke.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
If you have an extra $19 million laying around, you too could have lunch with Warren Buffett. That's how much the record-breaking steak lunch went for with an anonymous bidder.
How much?
$19 million for one steak lunch.
I'll tell you a little bit of what's behind that.
Okay, well, let me just give you the broad strokes. The sale was part of the 21st annual auction for a lunch produced with eBay and the Glide Foundation. That's a San Francisco-based nonprofit working to combat.
$19 million worth of water-soluble
I
lube
knew it.
really
I
goes a
knew it.
long way in
That's
the
right.
Bay Area.
That's right. Poverty and hunger and
I think it's
homelessness.
a black church. My mom's goes there. My mom goes there. I'm serious. God Memorial Church.
Really?
Really? I wonder if that's related. Amazing. The bidding started at $25,000 and ended at $19 million. The last bidder to win was, he paid $4.5 million. He was Justin's son. He's an entrepreneur, cryptocurrency guy. This mystery winner, though, will enjoy a private lunch with Buffett, up to 7 guests at Smith & Walensky Steakhouse in New York. And this is the last of the power lunches with Buffett. They're not going to do it anymore, but they've raised $53 million for Glide. If I paid $19 million for a lunch with a steak lunch with Warren Buffett, I would not let anyone come with me. That would be my time with Warren Buffett.
Or charge them all like $750K.
Yeah. That's exactly
if I could recoup.
Right.
I think the way these things work and the reason they get astronomical,
yep,
is it's a write-off. So you get to write this off.
All of it?
Well, so now here's the rub.
The dry rub.
You defer it over the next 100 years.
So you have to figure out. So I can only speak in car parlances, right?
We know.
So in the auction world, they'll do a thing where they'll go like the first, this Mustang is going to be sent. We're going to auction this off at Barrett Jackson in Arizona, and then the money is all going to Doctors Without Borders, right? And so a $50,000 Mustang goes for $1.7 million because the rich people are doing it, always looking for write-offs, and they can do it. But you still end up getting a car, and the government doesn't want you to get a car for free, essentially write everything off. But you still have to go, the value of the car is still $50,000. Like that is what you keep in your garage. That's worth something. So we got to back that out. Now everything over $50,000 is charity, So if you're going to write off the lunch with Warren Buffett, you have to set a base price on like what would a lunch with Warren Buffett cost.
What's the value?
If you were just going out to lunch with Warren Buffett with 7 of your friends.
So 8 steaks, 8 glasses of wine, 8 side dishes.
And then what about the bump? Like it's Warren Buffett.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how the taxes work. I know when you hear about all the crazy numbers, it's because some super duper rich guys are going to write the whole thing off.
And he very much wants to stay anonymous for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, because then super duper rich guys these days don't want to do it because Elon Musk's snotty little son daughter could get pissed off at him and then take to Twitter. Right. All right, Shannon Elizabeth is here, so I'm told. So
bring it home.
Maybe we should bring this one
Let's
home.
do it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. Sex called the numbers in bingo.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
It's a very antisocial game for a game that involves 8 people at the same table.
Right.
And
And
sometimes it's just your chest. If you can see your chest, you go red. Or if your leg is bouncing, it's other things that you don't even know you're doing. And then you could think you're covering everything up, but you still have a towel.
I don't want to see the sombrero or the welder's mask or the Beats by Dre. You play in your underpants.
Oh, sure.
Like
Pure.
this.